So the first up is the Department of Public Works.
Everybody see my report for June? Any questions on it? Otherwise, we'll move right on to, working on the windows for the town hall here. Me and Tyson been,
What's the torch? What are we torching? Stop cars?
yeah,
In
it's
the road?
meltable plastic basically.
In the road?
Embedded down in the road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do they come out in the winter?
No, they're permanent.
You don't plow them off or anything?
They're actually recessed in the pavement.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah, it was a free demo, so I was gonna take it. But me and Ty have been collaborating and trying to work on getting the window stuff together. We don't have anything for tonight. Hopefully within the next couple weeks, we can finalize dimensions, style, material, and I talked with a couple of the companies that we got some quotes on, and they were more than welcome to come in, meet with us, bring examples in, and talk to us directly, so we're all on the same page when it comes to getting a competitive quote on all of them.
Did you ever get a hold of Lynch today? Did they ever call you back?
Yep, I tried getting hold of Tim Lynch, with the deluge of rain that we received on Friday. I received a couple pictures from some people that live on the channel. We lost another big chunk of that head wall.
In Blue Heights?
Yes,
Really?
yes. Mother Nature has not been kind to us. Every time it rains, we get 2 inches at a time, it seems. So I wanted to put a bug in his ear to get things rolling. And I know part of it's on tonight. It's what we gotta do with the DNR to get permits and stuff yet, so.
Are we gonna be able to present to the citizens on that? Just to see where we're at in the field discussions?
Yeah, I called Tim and left a message that we would like everybody, the citizens, to have a chance to meet with them and bring any of their questions to them.
And I know we have to notice the meeting.
We should. Yep.
So we'll.
Once
do that.
I hear from him or Dan Meyer, because Tim's the lead engineer, Dan's the designer. So once,
It's just a courtesy.
Yep.
To all those residents, they wanna also look at dredging. Yeah,
Well,
Beach Road, also, the culvert, I had
Yeah.
a call from someone in May, and they're gonna look at some dredging, so I'm trying to hook them all up so they can talk about it and hopefully team.
yeah,
Don't we have to have this at our next meeting?
what's that? Yeah, I mean,
Because it should be the August meeting, right? Because September, the work should start.
yeah.
Oh, the work starts September.
Yeah, they wanna
That's
start
what it's supposed
sometime
to.
after Labor.
So we gotta do it at our August meeting.
Yeah, once I hear back from them, to try and schedule a public meeting date with them, so people that live there or anybody else has questions, can come to that.
I just think it's a courtesy.
Yeah. Well, I know that they got a lot.
Yeah, I've heard from plenty of people that have a lot of questions, about that it's gonna be that whole project size, length of time. But it's a, not a quick, easy thing to do,
No, it's not.
especially, you know, having to get permits and, and, yeah,
It's not noticed.
yeah,
Oh, the discussion?
yeah.
No, you didn't notice it.
That's all I got.
Thanks.
I know it's getting,
Thank you,
Jim's got something on that, so.
thank you for the time on the windows and stuff too.
We're getting,
Yeah. Police chief.
I'll start with the pier permits. The first one that I got was for N9573 Horseshoe Lane. Reviewed the drawing and then went out to the house and did a site visit. And I recommend that the board approve as it was drawn up and presented. And then the second one was on Shorewood. Sure, if you want to take them one at a time, I'm happy to do so.
Okay. Do we have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion that we approve the pier permit for Brian and Barbara Kubak. My bad, I'm sorry. At N 9573 Horseshoe Lane.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And the second one was at, W 862 Shorewood. I did not do a site visit. Based on the information that I was given, it just looks like they are putting in a permanent pier on the same footprint of the pier that they currently have. And so I will also recommend that pier permit be approved.
I'll make a motion that we approve the pier permit for Rick Witt at W 862 Sherwood Drive.
Second.
Ottersville.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Just real quick before I get into the numbers, hearing all the comments, I wanted to let the public know. We've been in discussions about these issues before tonight. Your complaints, emails, scuttlebutt, rumors have not gone unheard by myself, Mr. Jones, Mr. Stacy, the Lake Beulah Management District. We've met, we've had a couple meetings, brainstorming on how to support that lake and make sure it stays safe. I know in one of the records that I got, they talked about the lakes all around us and all the tragedies that have occurred this year. And thankfully, we have not had one of those. And that is not something we want to see happen. So it's not being not addressed, it's not being ignored. We're just trying to come up with the best solution other than just trying to find a pot of money and throw it at it. Because if you don't have a plan, you can throw money at it and you're just putting money down the drain. So we want something that makes common sense and it's gonna work for not only the town, but also the town residents and the visitors. And unfortunately, on the 4th of July, every lake in Walworth County is submerged with boats from not in this area. And we're not allowed to stop people from launching a boat. So if you come down to Wilmer's Landing and the parking lot is full and you have an alternate place to park your vehicle, we could line up cars from here to Elkhorn, and DNR does not allow us to stop boats from launching. If every person says, I have an alternate place to park, we have to allow them to launch according to the DNR rules. And so your lakes get overwhelmed, because I'm happy if I have my buddies driving his boat up from Illinois, pontoon boat, we can go to the lake, I'll take the car, we'll drive it back, I got a buddy over here, over there, they'll let me park in their driveway, we'll hop on the boat, and that's what's going on. So just to let you know, we're aware, and we're doing what we can, so it's not going unnoticed or ignored. And the other public comment, it's troubling. I heard your public comment, and the problem that befalls upon me when I was at the sheriff's office and here now is, if you're in a public area, you can video whatever you want to. I can stand out in the middle of the street and I can videotape your homes, the activities, as long as I'm in a public right of way. There's nothing law enforcement can do to stop it. And I understand the concern. I had little kids. I had things like that happen at a different residence. It is disconcerting. It is upsetting as a parent. But from a law enforcement standpoint, until they do something overt or go onto private property where they can't be, filming and video recording from public property, unfortunately, is America. We're allowed to do it. And I know that that hurts us sometimes, and sometimes it helps us. So I just wanted to let you know, I understand, as a parent, I get it, and I feel I'd probably be in the same shoes of being a little terse in that situation. So, thank you for your time, and thank you for your comments, and we're always open.
We've heard from the public, Mr. Stas had pictures, the Rileys couldn't see the boat numbers. Is there anything that the public can do that would assist you guys in policing the lake? I mean, from a resident perspective or another voter perspective, what is the procedure you'd like us to
Absolutely, if
follow?
you can get the numbers off the boat, and you have pictures, like John apparently has a picture of the Roos Trail, and I'm not doubting it, I can walk up and look at it, and we can see the numbers on the boat, so we have a avenue of investigation to follow up. We certainly, would be looking into that and doing that. So that's a good start, and I know, somebody else has approached me about a form that they're gonna do online, that'll be emailed to me, giving me the date, the time, type of incident that happened. If they have the registration numbers, then we can have something to follow up on.
But what if you can't get the registration?
Then there's not a whole lot we can do, unfortunately.
Because unless
And-
you're like 20 feet away from the boat,
Some of those cameras are really
yeah,
good.
not by
The other thing that I wanted to bring up, John talked about last night on the lake. I'm making an assumption here, and I know what happens when you assume. I bet those people live on the lake. So the people that were violating the law last night, when you go to Wilmer's Landing, that place is a ghost town coming this time of day. I'm gonna say 90% of a chance that that boat was somebody on the lake. And that's the problem, is the people that are on the lake, not everybody has the same concerns that you folks do that are here year round and love this area. Some people are only here for one weekend out of the summer, and they're gonna do what they're gonna do. And then we won't see them again for another 9 or 10 months. And those are the people that we really need to reach, are that lend their house out, lend their boats out, that don't understand the rules of the lake, and educate those nice people that, hey, you can't be doing this. But I'm guessing that boat didn't get launched, I'm guessing that boat was a lake boat.
There's 4 of them.
4 of them?
I got a picture, he's going right to the public launch, and it's
Okay.
at,
There were
That-
4.
that's-
7:37.
That's highly unusual for a weeknight, you know, and so,
well, it was Sunday night.
This Sunday.
oh, it was Sunday,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
I'm a day ahead, I'm thinking it's Tuesday for
Yeah.
whatever reason, but, so, but I have heard you, and we're looking at doing something to fix the problem, but that fix isn't gonna happen this coming weekend, I can guarantee that, unless the board's gonna do something tonight that I'm not aware of. That's not on the agenda, so.
Sorry.
But for the month, through the January of this year, we did have, or have had, 4,862 calls for service. We're still averaging 1.1 call per hour of the day. For the year, we had 589 traffic citations issued and 94 ordinance citation issued. And that's a grand total of 683 total citations that the police department has issued so far this year. We've also, in the last couple of weeks, have had a couple of in-depth investigations involving things that I'd rather not talk about publicly, and juveniles. And so we are not the big city, but we do get some pretty cruddy calls that we do have to spend lots of time investigating, that do take away from our other duties, because we are a small agency, and those things are really, really important when they happen to you and your family. So we need to investigate them properly and do our due diligence. And sometimes you might not see a car running radar the way we normally try to do, or making a stop, or getting where we need to be, because we do have those things happen, unfortunately. Anything else? Yeah.
Thank you to you and your officers for doing the job that you are doing. It is appreciated.
And I can speak for every single one of our full-time officers and our part-time. They really do care about the job. They care about you people as citizens, and they really try and put their best foot forward. And I see that day in and day out with the work product that they do and the suggestions that they bring forward to try and make things better.
Can you speak to your background in boat patrol type activities?
Yes. Back in 1992, I was hired by the Town of Delavan Police Department as a boat patrol officer. As I progressed through that agency for the 5 years I was there, the last 3, I was in charge of the police boat. I ran the police boat on Delavan Lake until I got hired by the sheriff's office in 97. In 97, the sheriff's department at the time didn't have boat patrol. A few years later, they ended up doing a boat patrol with 2 wave runners. They'd send out 2 deputies on wave runners to do patrols on the different lakes, and I was part of that program. I was also part of the Walworth County dive team. Unfortunately, a number of years ago, I dove on Lake Beulah for a gentleman that committed suicide back in the 1930s, I believe it was, right off of Wilbur's Landing area. So I have some experience on the water with previous boat patrols and the DNR, doing not only just boat patrol, but also the snowmobile patrol, and working with the DNR during the winter time.
I think it's important, especially with some of the concerns that have been brought up. I think it's important to know that we do have a good resource, and we are working right now to understand what type of options we have to deal with manpower. That's effectively what we're dealing with right now.
And Jason Roberts, who's kind of our local contact, I've known and worked with Jason for a number of years, and so has Deputy Chief Rumby. And they've been more than helpful, returning phone calls right away, answering questions that we need, and that sort of thing. And I think that really came through when they were applying for their buoy permit and getting that process done. I think Jason was a little more attentive, because of the relationship that we've been able to maintain for all these years.
Is Jason with the DNR?
Yeah, Jason is a supervisor for, I forgot his exact title, but he's
Recreation warden.
yeah, he's a recreation warden. He kind of supervises and reviews permits and different things and signs off. So he's a good guy to have in your back pocket and on your side.
I agree. Thank you.
Thank you.
Supervisor Kaiser.
Yes, my report is in the packet. Does anyone have any questions? I have a question. Is there any way that we can add that into the consent agenda for the future?
Oh,
Why, I'm not sure that it needs to be separate.
can we, Attorney Miller, we were gonna talk about some of that agenda stuff next meeting, so.
Put it on the agenda for
Yep.
next month.
Okay, let's do that. Okay, planning commission report, Supervisor Reyes.
Yeah, so the planning commission met last Wednesday, July 9th. I got an easy one for my first meeting on the planning commission. The property, on County Road J, they were just looking for a clarification on the acreage on the conditional use. So it was essentially a one-line change to their conditional use. So the board was, the planning commission, was in agreement with that change in order to facilitate a happy sale for that property. So in, alignment with the planning commission's decision, I would make a motion to approve the conditional use amendment for PET 3000001D as in David, at West 1032 County Road J, Mawanago, Jansen Real Estate Holdings LLC owner, Bobby E. Jansen, and Inconceivable Ventures LLC applicant, per the conditional use, the request to change meeting the conditional use requirement.
Second.
Second by Tyson. Any discussion?
I just would like to commend the people for coming forward and catching the dotting of the i's and crossing of the t's. I know it's annoying, but I appreciate his diligence.
It also helps the prospective buyer.
Probably, but
Anyway, all in favor?
Sure.
Aye.
Oh, I'm sorry.
May I be recognized?
Yes.
Because the agenda has motion to approve or deny, I just want to confirm that it was a motion to approve the plan commission's recommendation to approve.
Yes.
Okay.
What was that? Okay.
Jean's got it. Yeah, he was just asking if I said approve or
And you
deny,
did,
and I did.
Okay, so all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Nice job, Michelle.
So now we have in unfinished business two items, A and B, which, one of the items, the second, item is basically a summary of our meeting with Chief Gurecki, Deputy Chief Runge, Jason Roberts from the DNR actually came up to our facility here and sat with us on this meeting. I had, LBMD's, president, Pat Bergen, and Rick Stacy, who was the county rep there, and we all sat and talked about this, and I think it was 2 hours we talked about it. So, anyway, so what I wanna do is, let me go to 9, I'm sorry. I have a few remarks. What I tried to do is, since, let me just read my notes here. I want residents to know that while I could have pushed this wake vote issue to a vote and been done with it weeks ago, months ago, I made a conscious decision not to. I'm listening to the strong and diverse public opinions on this matter and am committed to helping the town navigate this complex and controversial issue in a thoughtful and inclusive way. At each town board meeting since my election, I've made it a priority to publish information to the public to foster greater understanding of the many variables involved. My goal is to understand not just the user concerns, but also the environmental impacts, the town's jurisdictional responsibilities, and any potential liabilities. This is not a simple issue. It carries far-reaching implications no matter which way we were to vote on this. As I have done in previous meetings, I've included additional information in the packet outlining the board's efforts to both act on immediate concerns and investigate more long-term questions. These efforts include addressing low-hanging fruit items in real time and pursuing deeper analysis of key issues. Following some experiences of questionable behavior by individuals on this topic, which has continued since my campaign, I have become highly selective about the sources I rely upon, seeking information only from individuals who approach this issue with reason, respect, common sense, and a willingness to follow data wherever it leads. Since the last meeting, I visited Lake Beulah twice. On my first visit, I spent over 3 hours touring the entire shoreline by boat. From my first-hand observation, I noted extensive riprap shoreline protection, which should significantly reduce any shoreline erosion risk. And we've provided more, and I sent some more information over this weekend to, President Bergen, Chairman Bergen, and about riprap. There's an exemption for riprap from DNR, so you don't need a permit. You, as long as you follow the rules, you can put riprap up. So, I noted extensive riprap shoreline protection, which should significantly reduce shoreline erosion, and a noticeable lack of buoys at the 200 mark, 200-foot mark, except in Mill Lake, where there seems to be sufficient buoys. I also observed numerous diving platforms placed far from shore, some of which appear to obstruct boat traffic. On the second visit, I observed the operation of a 23-foot wake boat in a controlled setting. During the wake surf demonstration, we traveled at approximately 10 to 12 miles per hour in approximately 50 feet of water on Long Lake. The surfer was up on the board within 15 to 30 seconds. The wake produced was roughly 1 to 2 feet in both cavity and crest. Within about 50 feet of the boat, the wake had diminished to less than 8 inches, and it continued to diminish in size as it approached the shorelines. What troubled me most during my second outing was the behavior of a fishing boat that appeared to act with deliberate hostility. While the wake boat I was in was stationary, ballast tank filling and awaiting a surf demonstration, a fishing boat crossed the lake directly toward us, seemingly to interfere with our activity. I also saw photos being taken as if we were under surveillance. If this is what wake boaters are routinely experiencing on Lake Beulah, it's concerning and unacceptable. Harassment, regardless of one's position on this issue, has no place on our lakes. Based on this and my own experiences, I find it difficult to accept that wake-enhanced boating alone is solely responsible for shoreline or lake bottom damage when operated in proper water depths and distances from shore. For example, on a busy weekend at Potter's Lake, where I live, I personally witnessed waves from wind and multiple ski boats that far exceed what I saw from this wake boat. When it comes to lake bed disturbance, the reality is that all powerful boats, ski boats, pontoons, fishing boats, wake boats, even maybe wave runners, they're all powerful watercraft. They require sufficient depth to operate responsibly. This reinforces the need for clearly designated zones on the lake for activities like skiing, wake surfing, and wave running. In the packet, you'll find a copy of the board's letter to the lake districts outlining practical suggestions for addressing resident concerns. I wanted to share that with you because in the past I've provided handouts on ordinances and constitutional requirements that we're obligated to uphold. Per Lake Beulah Management District report in the packet, they have started the process of adopting some of the recommendations to help mitigate the intensity of lake usage and improve conditions. And additional, now that we're approved on the buoys, that's even gonna go farther. Hopefully this process can be accelerated to get some physical implementation on the lake yet this year. I also attended the June 23rd, 2025 Lake Beulah Management District meeting where a former Water Patrol leader commented that lake enforcement today is significantly under-resourced compared to decades past. The conservation focused on the urgent need for stronger lake patrol enforcement. To that end, I've initiated meetings with the police, the DNR, we've already spoken about the meeting, had a follow-up with Chief Gurecki as well on this, and we're working on developing some options of how we might address this labor shortage. And then that would be brought to the board for possible action. Closing thought. I remind you, I am still only one vote of 5 board members. This board will continue to approach this issue with transparency, diligence, and commitment to data-driven decision-making. I ask all residents to remain engaged, respectful, and open-minded as we work towards solutions that balance recreation, safety, and environmental stewardship on the lakes. And so, rather than go through the 2 attachments, there's a 5-page document in the packet, which is the letter that was sent to the districts. There's a 5-page exhibit that provides all of the chapter 30 and town ordinance impacts on lake activity. And then there's some suggested boat communications with users as they come on the lake, maybe help improve their courtesy on the lake. So with that, and then I have a summary of my meeting with Chief Recchi. I knew that would be important. I'm glad I did that because hopefully that gives you something more to understand what we're looking at. There's a couple of options that were discussed in there, and I think one of them are gonna probably prove to be viable, okay? That's all I have for an update on those 2 items. Any questions? Okay, 9C, the organizational assessment RFPs. These are also in the packet. The only thing I'm going to offer comment on is, this is not in the budget for this year, but I think it's important to get the work done so that we can have data as we go into the budget year at the end of in October, November. So that's why I'm bringing this to the board at this point. It will have potential budget implications on 2026, so I think it's worth considering. I provided a comparison chart, which is right here, which compares both proposals. We had three RFQs go out. One came back and said, I don't have the staff, the proper staff to help with this. The other 2 did come back. I laid out the comparison chart so you can see quickly what each is providing on the 2 proposals received. One is a clear low bid, and their credentials are very strong, and the organization has personnel depth. When I looked at it, I see there's like 2 people in the other organization, and this one seems to have 5, 10, maybe 15 people. So I think we have a few motions that we're gonna have to deal with on this. Any questions before we go forward?
I'd just like to thank you for the organizational chart that you did on the 2 bids. It helped as I was taking the material.
What I found, the reason why I did it is, what I found is both proposals didn't have all the information, so you had to actually go to the website to get some of it, so it just made it a little easier to understand.
I think as well, to your point regarding the budget, a lot of times when you engage with consultants like this, especially with this, lower cost option, you can also write into the contract that the consultants will identify cost reduction activities to even cover the cost of the work or more.
And that was mentioned, actually. I think they describe it in the proposal as low-hanging fruit opportunities that would not require